It's a league that's leaned into offense over the years, but the NFL is playing defense this week. The most profitable and popular sports league in the country facing a class action lawsuit over its Sunday ticket package. And Monday, Commissioner Roger Goodell and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones took the stand. Here with the latest is Ben Fischer from Sports Business Journal. Ben, good to see you. This suit covers 2.4 million subscribers, 48,000 businesses. What do they allege the league did wrong here?
So, as everyone who watches football knows, most games on Sunday afternoons are on CBS or Fox, but you only get certain games that are regionally available or most relevant to where your affiliate is. Sunday Ticket is the satellite package where you get all of those games. It can bounce around. The plaintiffs, who are both individual consumers and bars, say that the NFL violated antitrust laws by setting an artificially high price that DirecTV had to sell this to customers to for a long time, and that also prevented it from being sold one team at a time, that the teams couldn't go out and sell individual packages of their own games. So all of that adds up to an allegation that it's a massive violation of the antitrust laws.
And what is the league's defense here?
Well, the league's defense is that this is a premium product. It's not intended for everybody, and that the vast majority of the games are still on free over-the-air television. And they're not getting into this defense yet in the trial, but if they lose, they will make a case as a matter of law that this is protected under a 1961 congressional act, and that consumers of Sunday Ticket were indirect consumers, and we're getting into some fine points of antitrust law, but that price fixing rules don't apply if it's not a direct consumer relationship with the NFL.
So Commissioner Goodell and Jerry Jones testified on Monday. What did we learn?
Well, they mostly reiterated their points, but it's interesting because Jerry Jones said that he didn't think it was good business for teams to sell individually, that he could make a lot more money selling games collectively than if it went up to each individual teams. He specifically mentioned the Cincinnati Bengals as a team that wouldn't effectively as effectively monetize their TV games as he would. And this gets to a long-running issue in the NFL where there's haves and have-nots. There's really aggressive businesses and there's less aggressive businesses. But the league is only as strong as its weakest link, so they do everything together. And that makes sense to people like me who cover the league. But in the eyes of a jury or judges or appellate court judges, that may well run afoul of antitrust law.
Interesting. How is what the NFL offers different from Major League Baseball, the NBA, NHL, even MLS?
Well, it's different, but it's not entirely different. And everybody in sports is sort of watching this because there's a lot of movement toward maybe centralizing rights and selling them all to a single distributor like MLS did with Apple. But one of the key differences here for the NFL is that it was only available through satellite for a long time. There weren't multiple places to get it. In Canada, Sunday Ticket's available through multiple different providers. The NFL very intentionally kept it to a single distributor at a single price point.
So what does the league stand to lose here?
Well, damages in this case have been tentatively calculated as about $7 billion, but under antitrust law, that can be tripled in a trial decision. So it could be $21 billion, which even for the NFL is real money.
And then what would it mean if teams were able to offer individual television packages? What would that mean to the league?
Well, I think that's, I don't think we know exactly what that means, what it would look like, because clearly there would be a lot of consumer demand for that. That's one of the most persistent complaints of people who would like to buy a Sunday Ticket. They're really interested in their team's out-of-market games, and they're being forced to buy everything else. So on one hand, there would almost certainly be more subscriptions sold, but there'd be a lower price point. And one of the points the NFL is going to make in this trial is that doing this way is actually in consumers' best interest. It sounds a little counterintuitive, but what they're saying, maybe without saying it in so many words, is that if each team did this individually, quality and quantity would vary greatly. The Cowboys and Jerry Jones might have a really high quality production, but the others maybe wouldn't. And their point is that this is actually ultimately in everyone's best interest if they didn't. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it would be a completely different environment if this was done team by team.
So it's a betting league, it's a betting world handicap, but how do you think this ends?
I'd say that the conventional wisdom in the legal world among lawyers who've been quoted in this and are observing is that they would lose a trial, but then probably win on appeal, because this isn't so much about the facts. It's pretty clear that they definitely designed this to be a very high price point, higher than the market would bear. But there's reasons to believe that an appellate court would say, under law, this isn't an antitrust matter at all. So I'd say it's narrow. There's differences of opinions, but I think the conventional wisdom is that they'll lose to the jury, but maybe win on appeal, maybe all the way to the Supreme Court.
Wow, interesting stuff. All right, I want to close with this. The NFL, for the first time, has a doubleheader streaming on Netflix on Christmas Day. But Netflix is still looking for a broadcast production partner, which is a massive undertaking. How big a concern is this for Netflix, for the league? And are you surprised they didn't stipulate who that production partner was ahead of a deal?
I'm not surprised, because I think, when it just comes to the rights to those games, it was a matter of Netflix wanting to get into live sports in a big way and being willing to pay for it. And the NFL's attitude is, if the price is right, we'll figure out the details later. And I think that's what's going on here. And look, everyone who currently airs and produces NFL games, Amazon Prime, Fox, ESPN, Disney, and NBC, they're all high quality people. And whoever Netflix works out with, I think the NFL is highly confident that it will be at a level they find acceptable. It's just, maybe not the way you draw it up in business school, but Netflix got the rights and figured out everything else later.
Two high-profile matchups. The stakes are certainly high for Netflix. Ben Fischer, Sports Business Journal. Good to see you. Great stuff.